Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Carol Markowski, and I'm from the Council of Senior Centers and Services. Welcome to Creating a Welcoming Culture from Top to Bottom. This webinar is brought to you in partnership by the Association on Aging in New York State Coalition on Aging, and Council of Senior Centers and Services of New York City, and the New York State Office for the Aging. Thank you guys for joining us. This is actually the last webinar in our series of 6 that was rescheduled. So for those of you who came back, I send an extra special welcome out to you. Just a few logistical things. Everyone's going to be muted throughout the session. There's an area on the webinar panel to type in questions, and I invite you all to do so throughout the session. We have 2 presenters today who I'm going to introduce in a second, and what they're going to do is they're going to do their presentation, and then at the end I'm going to moderate the questions. So please keep those questions coming. We're going to get to as many of them as possible before we finish today. When you close out the webinar, there will be a short survey that's going to pop up. Please take a few moments to fill that out. Your feedback has really been important. I've really appreciated everything that everyone shared with me about their experience on these webinars. It's going to help us develop more webinars in the future. So, this webinar is being recorded, and the session, along with the PowerPoint, is going to be uploaded to the association website after this conference. Usually takes us about a day or so to get them up there, so bear with us, it will be up there. The website is agingny.org, and I'm going to put in the chat box the actual link for the webinar. So, without further ado, we are pleased to have Chris and Michelle with us today. I'm going to introduce them really quickly and then I'll turn it over. Michelle has a bachelor's degree in psychology and spent much of her career working in the field of adults with developmental disabilities. In her current role as program coordinator, she proclaims this position is like heaven on earth. Her greatest passion is interviewing others and learning about people. Wonderful. Thank you, Michelle. Also with us today, Chris. Chris has a bachelor's degree in therapeutic recreation. Chris is celebrating her 10th year anniversary last year, working for Lifespan. Her background also includes working with older adults with developmental disabilities. Chris is so excited to be a part of this wonderful team, which brings the progressive model you're going to hear about today to older adults in Rochester. So Chris and Michelle, I'm just taking you guys off mute, and I'm going to pass the screen over to you. So thank you guys so much.
Okay, awesome. Hi, everyone. We're so glad you're joining us again today. We're so sorry about the technical difficulties we experienced a couple of weeks ago. So without further ado, let's get started. The topic today for this PowerPoint is creating a welcoming culture from top to bottom. So my name is Chris Santillo. I'm going to start off the presentation, and I'm actually pictured on the right, and my colleague Michelle Labou is on the left, and we're going to kind of tag team our presentation a little bit. So I'll go through our agenda items. I'm going to discuss the Lifespan overview, the MARC program description, and then I'm going to turn it over to Michelle, and she's going to discuss our philosophy, back to me for environment, and then it'll be back over to Michelle to discuss staff and customer service. And then we'll round out the presentation with opportunity for questions. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. And of course, we hope that you at least take away one suggestion to be able to implement into your program. Okay, so Lifespan of Greater Rochester was founded in 1971. It is a not-for-profit organization dedicated to providing information, guidance, and services that help older adults and their caregivers take on both the challenges and opportunities of longer life. Whoa, that was a mouthful. So Lifespan, we're a $7.6 million annual budget, and we receive support and government subsidies from United Way of Rochester and numerous foundations, as well as private contributors, and also through fee-for-services. Lifespan employs approximately 110 full and part-time professionals. We assist approximately 20,000 older adults and their caregivers. So Lifespan is definitely the leading agency on aging in the area. Okay, now I'll go ahead and move on to our model, the Multi-Purpose Aging Resource Center. Now, I did not put on our formal name. Our formal name is the Caroline Lily Labazo Aging Resource Center, but we've shortened our name a little bit lovingly to the Lily Cafe. And that really came from our folks who just really wanted to shorten our long title. So lovingly we call it the Lily Cafe. So we are a wellness model designed to attract the boomer generation. We opened our doors 3 years ago as a progressive pilot model offered as an alternative to a traditional senior center model. We're a collaborative venture of United Way, Lifespan, and the YMCA, and we're actually housed within the Maplewood YMCA. So I think that in itself is what totally makes us different than the traditional senior center. And our primary focus, obviously, other than the health and wellness, is the lifelong learning component, civic engagement, intergenerational opportunities, and caregiver support. These serve as our pillars for programming as we develop our programs, and this is guided by our funder, United Way. Okay, here's a nice little quote for you, and I'm going to go ahead and transition to Michelle.
Hi, everybody. Good afternoon. Happy Friday. So glad to be here with all of you. The section that I'm going to talk about is one of the things that I feel most passionate about, and that is a philosophy that we've embraced in all ways here at the cafe. And you know, we did a lot of research and looking into the importance of the power of touch. You know, oftentimes you'll be maybe at a traditional center, and people tend to be cautionary about how often touching and hugging occur. And here we just really looked at giving people as many opportunities as were possible to feel the power of a hug or a massage, and so on. According to the National Institute of Health, those people who are physically touched on a regular basis experience higher levels of oxytocin, the hormone responsible for lowering blood pressure, maintaining good mood, and increasing pain tolerance. One of the things, you know, as I said, we started this philosophy, this practice, right in the beginning, and one of the things that one of our members came to us and said early on, privately, she was very tearful when she approached us, and she said, I want you to know how much it means to me to come to be involved in your center, to be involved in this environment, because before here, I would go weeks and never have any human being touch me. And as she told us this story, she wept. And this sort of cemented that we were on the right track. And so it's really very, very important to us and to our members that we carry on with that. We try to do so in terms of, obviously, the hugs, hello, and goodbye. We have member-driven classes, Reiki classes, and we have a once-monthly chair massage. And those happen to be some of our most popular programs that are offered here. So I think that's about all I'll say about touch at this point, except, you know, in the 3 years that we've been doing this, I don't think we've ever had any problems in terms of anyone misreading or misunderstanding, and most of all, it just makes people feel cared for, and so that's our primary focus. Also, in terms of philosophy, we believe very highly that it's important to role model to both the members of your in the setting that you work in, and for the staff people working there, and that is to have an attitude in which exudes compassion, that you're really role model for yourself and for your others, an attitude of compassion. Here we make it very clear that gossip and unkindness is not tolerated, and that really the most important thing is that respect is a requirement. Make that a requirement of the place, your center, your gathering place. When you hear someone complaining about another participant or a staff person, or they have a problem, you can sort of hear and steer in the right direction, as we like to say. You know, role model compassion. Feel comfortable redirecting conversations that could breed division among your members. Encourage new people to interweave with established members and create or shadow a buddy system. So always being in the action of being supportive, and in an active role of being supportive. Excuse me, I have a little bit of a cold. Be present. You know, oftentimes in the senior center environment or an older adult gathering place environment, things get so busy, and in that busy setting, you can get distracted, and people are aware when you're distracted. You know, they're looking for eye contact. So become a better listener and observer. Make sure you know what's going on around you. Make sure you're observant of how your members are feeling. Create opportunities for, oh, I'm sorry, I'm a little behind with my slides here. Where am I, Michelle? Gossip and kindness not tolerated. Oh, back to promoting an atmosphere of acceptance. You know, we talk about discouraging cliques, and of course, cliques occur in all ages of life. Various, you know, different people gravitate towards different people, and while we know that it will naturally occur, we always, you know, a lot of places will have people will say, well, that's, you know, at our center, this is my seat. And here we always say, no one has assigned seats. People can change. In fact, we try to actively move the tables around so people are constantly shifting their position within our cafe, so that they get to meet other people, so that people don't feel like they're not included. And walk new members over with existing members and have them sit down and have lunch. We want to make sure that everybody is engaged, and practice practice focusing on strengths and abilities rather than what a person can't do. Language, we feel, is critical, and we don't use the word old, senior, or elderly. If somebody refers to themselves as an older adult or someone over 60, that's okay. But we try to make sure things are phrased in a way that people feel positive, rather than, oh, I feel terrible, I'm just an old lady, or I'm a, what else, old crony, or, there's some other language that's out there. And oftentimes, language can really shape how a person feels about themselves. So really, we don't we don't use any of those words here. We don't consider ourselves a senior center. We consider ourselves an older adult gathering place. Okay, let's see. We talked about being present, better listener and observer, create opportunities for relationship building, and of course that's critical. Although of course you want to have good relationships with your members. Really, the grandest thing is helping them to develop relationships among themselves. We know that our members have experienced great loss in their lives, and we want to make sure that their connections may reach outside of the hours of 8 to 4. It's nice when people can call each other on the weekend to check in, or somebody's missing, they give each other a call. So that's very important, building relationships, listening for commonalities among people. And in being present, make sure you're listening for signs of grief, any caregiver support needs. You know, a lot of the people that you may be providing service to are caring for grandchildren, are caring for a partner with or a husband with dementia, Alzheimer's, or you know, a sibling. So making sure that you know, if there's any signs of depression, that you catch those early and you know, make appropriate referrals and be supportive. Let's see. Provide opportunities for laughter and be a part of the laughter. That's another thing that we make sure that we're doing, is that we're not just setting up events and then stepping away, that we really want to be a part of it, so that we're all together and creating these memories that will last, and that we can laugh and refer back to and chuckle about and hug each other about. So provide opportunities for laughter and be a part of it. Laugh with people. Of course, you always should go back and check in on pressing issues. You know, if you've had someone leave your center that needed to have surgery, or they're missing a few days, or they were complained of a certain pain, make sure you check in. Check in. How's it going? Did you ever follow up with your doc on that, you know, sore shoulder, John? Just making sure you're checking in with your folks. This has been critical, and I'm sure that most people are doing this anyways, but we make it a point to make personal calls when a participant is absent from the program. And this has just been tremendously effective here for many reasons. For people that just decided that they wanted to take a break, you know, it was winter time, they got a little bit down, they stayed home. When we've given them the call, they've come in, and they've really appreciated it. Other times we'll make a call and we find out a person's ill, so then we, you know, as a team try to decide, and a team being Chris and myself and the members here, how are we going to support that person while they're away from program? What can we do? Can we letter write? Can we go buy them groceries? Can we help with their garden? So those personal calls become very important. One of the things that was really exciting when we first started was we developed our own Facebook page. And we're grateful that we had a terrific gentleman here who teaches computer classes, and he's been very active in getting our members up on Facebook. And it's what a cool tool that is, not only for folks to be able to connect with us and see what's going on in our program, but to also have people find family members or friends that they went to high school with, connect with people in other countries. And you know, we have classes that teach people safe ways to protect their privacy and what to put out there and what not to. And make sure people know what they're doing. So, but as you can see, it's the Lilly Cafe, Caroline Lilly Labozo Aging Resource Center is up on your screen, and we would be thrilled to bits if you liked our page. We'd love it, and anything and everything we do here is on there. So we'd love to have some new likes as a result of this conference. So wonderful to see that, and let me know when you type in on the page that you heard this. It would be terrific. Okay. Who's the boss? Oftentimes I've gone to, big events in the community, and I've heard members of various senior centers or older adult gathering places, I've heard them refer to the program coordinator or the director as the boss of the program. And our philosophy is that not be the case, that really that this is the place, this is their place, this is a person's home away from home, this is where people can drive the things that they would like to do, the things that they would like to see happen in their lives. So really having it be a participant-driven program. Sometimes I'll look at other senior center letters and read about various community offerings, and certainly I'll share the information, but I try not to use those as a guide necessarily for our newsletter or our calendar. I really look to what members have expressed an interest in, or I'll seek to offer classes that a member can teach to find another part of themselves that they've lost for a while. Retired teachers are great to have, and have them share their information. Great travelers, people who are interested in crafts. We just love that participant-driven philosophy, and really look to erase the us versus them idea. We are in this together. It's so funny. We can go through a whole day, and really, it's like this grand, glorious day where you're together with the best teachers, the best friends, the best mentors that you could ever want to be with. And so we try not to think about the staff versus participant. It's really, we're all in this together. What are we going to do today to make this day great? How are we going to get things set up in the morning? How does the schedule look? What kind of classes are we going to take? We try to jump in on a class with members when they're taking an exercise class. So really erasing the us versus them distinction. Again, I mentioned this before, emphasizing participant ownership. This is your place, wherever that place may be. This is your place. How would you like to see your place look? What kind of activities would you like to have offered at your place? How would you like to be treated in your home away from home? And have people really take pride in their place. Have them run tours so that they have an opportunity to brag about this wonderful place they've created. Again, I just said participants facilitate the operations. So, making sure that everything is moving as it should be. Participants know how it's supposed to be, and they call us on it if we're missing something. We make sure they know all of the aspects of the various operations, and we feel proud of that. As a great shot of a lady who works in our kitchen, gosh, 4 or 5 times a week, and she's just a doll. She'll sign up for anything, but she takes a lot of pride in serving and taking care of the members of the cafe. I'm the program coordinator, and in wherever you are, whoever runs your gathering place. You know, look to having that person be the scribe and agent for the members. What are members interested in learning? What are they interested in participating in? And as I mentioned earlier, partnering with participants to develop activities. It encourages participants to collaborate with others. Celebrate diversity. You know, we have the great fortune of being in an extremely diverse environment here. All different ethnic backgrounds, economic backgrounds, men, women, different sexual orientation, people of different sexual orientation. So this is, it's very rare. We are so fortunate because it's right here in front of us. So any chance we get to celebrate the differences in others, different cultural backgrounds, we do. And we like to make this a very open place. So, you know, I think people really like to share information about their history. You know, where did I come from? Tell me about yourself. You know, and jumping on that, you know, tell me about your grandparents. Where did they come from? Encourage sharing among your members. You know, create opportunities to share. You know, whatever, German Day. You know, trying to think of some other big celebrations that we have. You know, every year we do a big soul food luncheon, and celebrate Black History Month. Polish festival. So, you know, we really try to see what people are interested in and what they can bring from their culture to share with others. Let's see, what else did I want to tell you? Excuse me one second. I think I mentioned this, asking participants to lead various groups. For example, we just had a gentleman who is the head of the Ukrainian Society in Rochester. And he also manages the archives here. And so we thought it might be important to talk about the crisis in the Ukraine. And so that was just a stellar presentation, an hour discussion about his thoughts about what's going on in the world today. And boy, it generated lots of comments and questions and excitement. So it makes other people want to present because people give such great feedback. And you know, it's a different time to shine. I was going to say we also had we've had a wonderful Black Storytellers group, and I think this is pretty common around the country, these Black Storytellers groups. Fantastic opportunity to bring that history into your gathering place, and bring people together and have them learn and share. You know, we have had the Rochester Gay Alliance come out. So yeah, host I got down here. You know, encourage welcoming atmosphere. You know, we want to make sure that everybody that walks in here feels welcome, and it doesn't matter how different you are. Come on in. Even if you don't want to stay for lunch, come on in, put your feet up, have a cup of coffee. Tell us about yourself, or don't tell us about yourself. Just you know, sort of sit and share in the warmth of the atmosphere, of the kindness, and you know, that's really one of the most important things we say here is that, above all, if you can practice kindness, everything else will fall into place. If you're simply kind. So I'm going to hand you back to our director, Chris Antilla, now to talk a little bit more about the environment, creating the environment, a welcoming, engaging environment.
Okay, so creating an engaging environment. So consider rehabbing your space to include a contemporary design. The cafe model, the open concept that's attractive to the senses. It's an ageless design. Developing social, intimate spaces, include cozy nooks to engage socialization. I mean, when we were looking to decorate the cafe, we were definitely looking for the coffee shop appeal. We find that most of the younger, older adults are really looking to just settle into a Starbucks or Tim Hortons or Dunkin' Donuts, so that's what we were really trying to focus on. We have a small area. I mean, we only seat 30 folks in our cafe. We have 4 top tables and a long table that we're really not happy about. We try and get the smaller tables we find are a little bit more considerable for folks who like to have the intimate conversations. So that's really what we were looking for when we were looking for this progressive model. And then here's an example of our seating area with our fireplace and TV area. And then maybe consider a sectional couch with an ottoman. Obviously, you can put in the magazines of choice, and oh my goodness, everybody loves bringing magazines in. So it's an opportunity to share as well. Now, I love decorating using the pillows, changing it with the seasons and the holidays, and adding the Afghans in as well. Obviously, I'll put in fall pillows and throws. Then I go to the Christmas. I'll put Valentine's in. And oh my gosh, what suggestions I get. I mean, I have people that will come and say, oh my gosh, I picked up these house pillows for you, and I think they would go great on your sectional. And it really, really just steps it up a notch when you have those fine touches from home. Okay, so the second part of this is possibly consider creating a community garden. We were very fortunate that a donor here at the Y gave money to begin a community garden, and what an opportunity for intergenerational programming. I mean, really, this is great for folks who used to be the gardeners and now live in apartments, and oh my goodness, it just brings the gardeners out. I mean, everyone was just so excited that they were going to be able to maintain, plant, and harvest the vegetables and the herbs that we were able to maintain in our community garden. Working with the soil, it has such therapeutic properties. And of course, being out in the sun, we make sure that we go out in the morning, or we'll go out later in the afternoon to harvest and obviously weed the garden. But it has been such a huge success. We've just been really happy about it. Anything that we pull from the garden, we use in the cafe. And who doesn't like organic veggies and fruits that are incorporated into their lunch? Then we also, oh my gosh, once it gets later to the end, closer to fall, we have that zucchini like crazy, and tomatoes that we put out a farmer's market table, and everybody loves it. I mean, it is such a great success. And I had mentioned about the intergenerational opportunities. We're very fortunate here at the Y that we have a preschool program on site. So we do this huge party, this kickoff event when we're getting ready to plant the garden. It'll be coming up at Memorial Day. And we share what we will be planting. So we'll bring out the peppers and the zucchinis, and we have this huge garden party event with hats. And I mean, we really make it a lot of fun, and the kids love it. Oh my gosh. And so many times we'll hear, I've never tasted this before. And an interesting thing, we had fennel, which we had planted last year for the first time, and there was a woman actually in her 80s, and she said to me, I have never tasted fennel before, and I love it. So, it's always an opportunity to try something new. Try and offer outdoor seating, patio furniture. is a great opportunity. Making sure you get your vitamin D, you know, that 15 minutes a day, especially living in upstate New York. We're always told that we are deficient with our vitamin D. So it's so important to make sure that we're getting outside and getting the natural sunlight. And of course, the outdoor activities. Try to have bocce and horseshoe games. I mean, those are huge, huge fun summertime events that are definitely, they're member run. I mean, people will have tournaments and then they gather up their teams and it's just cool. We do awards outside and it just encompasses just around the community garden as well. Okay, and it's all about the details to bring the senses alive. 2 years ago, we created an art gallery to display and celebrate participants' talents. I mean, of course, speaking, you know, with your members, you find out all these little hidden talents, and we just had so many artists. So then we went ahead and decided we have to do, what a better addition to our coffee shop appeal than to add a monthly rotation of artwork. So, oh my gosh, it took off. I mean, we have a waiting list of people who are just saying, okay, in the month of May, I'm going to bring in my photography. And it's it's a reinforcement of pride and reinforcing our philosophy of ownership. We hold artist receptions with cheese and crackers and fresh fruit, and we've had a harpist that comes in and plays music, and I mean, it's really, really a classy feel. I mean, it's something that we really try hard to bring in for folks. And here's actually an example, one wall of our artist reception and our artist display. This is all one artist. He's actually a member of the Y and of our cafe. And he does specifically houses, and it's all pen and ink, and they are just spectacular. I mean, just to say the least, and what a conversation starter. I mean, it really, really gives an opportunity to reveal a new dimension of a participant, and people will just come in, oh, okay, we know it's that time of the month again that they're rotating their artwork, and we get everybody coming in to see what the artwork is. It's just so cool. We love it. It's one of our biggest pride and joys of the program. And of course, including a fireplace and mantle that you can decorate for the holidays. That definitely brings an opportunity for the decorators to come out. As soon as I consider, okay, they start looking, all right, what holiday is coming up? What are we going to do? You know, and it just is wonderful. It definitely creates a home away from home, and it encourages participants to stay and engage. I mean, they love to see what we're decorating, and I really spend a lot of time in decorating the cafe. I think it's really important. Like I said, we have folks that will come in and actually donate items that they're no longer using. They thought, oh, I thought this would look nice on your mantle, and of course, we're just so appreciative. I believe I have, yes. There's an example of our mantle that we decorated for spring. So I love it. Okay, so continue on with creating an engagement environment. Include quality touches. I mean, really, nothing says class than fresh flowers on the tables. We try not to use anything fake, so everything that we have, we just love, especially with the season, getting into the season now, we bring fresh flowers. We make sure we use linen and lace tablecloths. I mean, this is a huge one for us. I mean, we have members, oh my goodness, that will clean out their attics, and I had a woman who actually brought in vintage lace and linen tablecloths, and oh my gosh, they're gorgeous, and now we use them every event that we have. We use all of our gorgeous tablecloths. Even when we have our picnics, we take our tablecloths out with us, and I use the weights for the tablecloths. And everyone, I can't even tell you when our picnics start, I cannot believe that you guys are using real tablecloths at picnics. I mean, it really does give a sense of pride, and especially for the folks who have donated the items to see that we're actually using them. And like I said, the woman who had donated those items, she said, those have just been sitting for 40 years and not being used, and here they can be appreciated. So it's just a joy. We love to use antique serving dishes as well. I mean, if you are a garage sailor, an estate sailor, which I am, oh my gosh, this is the opportunity for you. I mean, I just scour the whole summer long looking for all different pieces that we can add to our collection. And I believe in the next slide I'll have an example of some of our serving dishes. We use fun, beautifully printed aprons. I mean, from day one, I just did not want to use anything that was paper aprons or anything like that. Everything had to be fun. So immediately when we started with our aprons, of course, everyone caught on, and people would start making us gorgeous, gorgeous aprons. And, oh, my gosh, it was just great. So it's always a conversation starter. We offer cinnamon raisin toast every morning, complimentary. And that, let me tell you, when we first started, because we were at the back end of the building, we would get our cinnamon toast started, and people would be coming down the hallway listening, and they would just smell that aroma wafting in the air. And I mean, really, what else says aromas, and folks would just flock in for that. Are you making cinnamon toast? So they know now that that's where they come for their coffee and cinnamon toast. And here's an example of our serving dishes. These are just a couple of my favorites. I really like to get a nice collection of English, Italian, and of carnival glass. And of course, there's an example of some of our lace tablecloths that we use. And then the little fresh flowers in the middle. We also have folks that bring in their fresh flowers once the season starts. They will just start snipping their flowers and bringing them in enough to sort the day, and they actually will last for a couple of days. So we have constantly a rotation of flowers. Right now in our kitchen, we have a beautiful arrangement of forsythia, and it looks fake. You would just not believe it, but people will come in and say, oh my gosh, I can't believe you have forsythia. And it's great. It's a member who took the time to bring it inside and force it to bloom, and now we have it beautifully displayed in our kitchen. Here's an example of some of our fun aprons that we use. And these are actually, this is the eclectic balance of our program. We serve our lunches on contemporary dishes. I felt that the white really made the food pop, and folks love it. So it's a nice vintage feel, and then of course we have this contemporary design for our dishes, and we use real glass, real silverware as well. Really, people appreciate it. I mean, every day we get compliments. We love your dishes. Where did you get them? I want to get some for home. So it is a great appeal, and people really appreciate those small quality touches. And here's another great quote that we love. And then I'm going to go on to talking about staff and hiring the right people. We really make sure that we're hiring staff with excellent soft skills to ensure the philosophy is delivered. We go by here, hire the personality and teach the skills. We really believe that motto goes a long way. And here's some examples of soft skills. We have to make sure that we're hiring folks with a positive attitude. They have an overall love of life, culturally sensitive, of course, which is very important, that they're energetic, enthusiastic, and of course, passion for older adult generation. This is just so important. Again, we want to make sure that these soft skills are important because it goes back to reinforcing our philosophy again. So I'm going to go ahead and transition to Michelle, who is going to discuss customer service.
Hi, back again. This section isn't super lengthy, but just a few points that we wanted to talk about and consider developing the highest level of customer service. I'm not sure if everybody is on the telephone or in the conference is aware of Wegmans, but I think it's pretty spread out across New York State. And of course, Walt Disney, the effect, in that, when a customer walks through your door, when a member walks through your door, that we want that person to feel super valued and genuinely valued. We want it to be an infectious thing, so that when someone comes in, you put down your piece of paper and you turn around and you say, "Hello, Sally. It's so good to see you this morning. How you doing? Is the coffee hot?" Really taking the time to go out and let people know that you notice they're there, that you care about their presence, that you have that there's something about them that you know that they're in the room. Also, thinking about customer service, make it your mission to accommodate customer requests and suggestions. The members of the places that you are running, that group, you've got a wealth of resources right at your fingertips. They have great ideas, and so make it your mission to hear what their ideas are, and then follow through with it. As I said, our calendar is all member-driven, but also thinking of things like accommodating people in terms of their diet or other challenges that they might have. We had a fellow that came into the cafe a couple of years ago, and he would come in and sit, but he couldn't really eat. He had experienced throat cancer, mouth cancer, and so even though we had some softer foods on our menu, he was unable to chew them in a comfortable way without choking or without having it put on his mouth. So I said, how about we put that food in a blender, ask what the person might like, put that particular thing, if it was appropriate, in a blender, and make it into a nice warm soup, or put it in a mug for drinking, in a way that the person would be able to enjoy some of the same flavors and foods and not feel like a standout. So, of course, being very discreet about it, and always presentation is everything. I mean, you want to make sure you're offering that person dignity, but again, making sure that all people can be included in the various things that you're offering. At one point we were having people come and talk at our lunch hours, and they talked, they were talking 3 or 4 times a week. We would have a guest speaker come in to promote or share information on various topics affecting older adults. And we thought we were doing a terrific job during this lunch hour. And what we came to find out is that people really didn't like it. They thought it was too much. Some people said, "Listen, I'm coming in to have lunch with my friends and talk. I don't want somebody taking over the room, 4 out of 5 days a week with information, no matter how great it is. Set up a table and have a flyer, and then if people are interested, they can approach." So we really took that message to heart, because if it was annoying people, obviously our membership would be down, and we really wanted people to feel the value of the relationships and receive the information. So this was the best of both worlds, and we were so pleased to have that. So although there are some, of course, we do have some lunchtime learning sessions, we don't do it with the frequency we did in the beginning when we thought we were being really smart and having all this information flooding people's lunchtime. Always be honest. Oh my gosh, there's so much I don't know, or I can't always get an answer to somebody right away, and so your members find you to be more credible if you just tell the truth and say, "I'm sorry, I don't have that answer, but I'll get back to you as soon as I can on it. I'm not sure. Do you guys have any ideas? Places we can look for that resource? Have your members help you?" That collaboration and co-partnership finding out the answers together. You know, any time that you have an opportunity to make sure that you're treating someone special, that is a bonus as well. And not in a way that somebody feels like they're older and they're incapable of taking care of themselves, but it's really nice if we can run around the dining room and pick up a tray for somebody sometimes, or eavesdrop when somebody's almost out of coffee and beat them to the table with a fresh cup of coffee. Oh my gosh, it really brightens a person's day. Not because they're older, but because they're a human being, and doesn't everybody like opportunities to be treated special? You know, and that's what we try to do with birthdays and wedding celebrations. Try to keep our ears open. What's important to people? You know, last year we were made aware of a woman who had lost her son, and she had lost her son 40 years ago. And so we made sure to write it on the calendar, and then on the anniversary of his son's passing, you know, we sent a note and made a phone call to check in. And oh my gosh, it meant so much. You know, nobody ever asks about my son anymore. It meant so much that you made that call. So that's what I'm talking about with customer service, making people feel special, because all human beings are special. Everybody is unique. And so really trying to go that extra mile to find out, you know, what a person's favorite salad dressing is, for example. You know, we've changed our salad dressing selection, and people will give us the old wink when we've got Tabasco sauce on the counter, because we know that some people like it spicy. Or trying to think of other examples of various items that people have mentioned, you know, horseradish, or, you know, a special celebratory Italian cookie. You know, just trying to provide really excellent customer service. Welcoming, you know, having that be, like I said, the welcoming aspect. Good afternoon, good morning, welcome. And when a person leaves, walking them out, thank them for coming. If you know them, give them a hug. If you're getting to know them, give them a hug. And be kind, and be kind, and be kind. Be empathetic, lets the person know you're listening. Provide high level of quality in all aspects of your program. Empower your staff, and everybody seems to be happy. Empower your staff and make sure you're role modeling for your staff, so that everybody is providing that same level quality of service that you want your place to run with. And really, in conclusion, as I've said throughout my whole thing, is do all things with kindness. That is really the critical thing to do. You know, let the perceived barriers of age disappear within your walls. When a person walks in, we want people to focus on being in a place that makes them happy, that feels like a home away from home, where they feel loved, and they're not aware of age and limitation, only potential and happiness and kind things. Be willing to journey with participants to the past, present, and future. Make sure you listen to histories, enjoy the present, and help people plan for the great things that can be ahead in life. Hug, laugh, cry, and empower. Feeling real emotion with people, there's nothing finer to cement your group together. And thank you very much for joining us. Any questions?
Thank you, guys. This is Carol once again. That was amazing, as always. I have a pile of questions, and we have just shy of about 10 minutes, about 8 minutes to go. So I'm going to run through these pretty quickly. There's a couple of just logistics questions that folks had. Some people just wanted a little more information about the cafe. What are your hours? Is lunch served at a specific time? And how many staff members do you have?
Okay. Can you hear me okay? Like this? I have you
Yeah.
on speaker so both Michelle and I can hear the questions.
Yep, it's not too bad.
Okay. I'll try to speak a little bit louder. The cafe is open Monday through Friday, 8:30 until 4 o'clock each day, and we serve lunch for 1 hour between 11:30 and 12:30. Currently, staff-wise, myself, who is, well, part-time. Right now I'm split. We were able to, because of the success of this program, we were able to replicate this model to a second YMCA. So right now I am split between both programs, but Michelle is here full-time, and then we have a part-time kitchen coordinator, and then numerous volunteers.
Wonderful. And what's the age range of your participants? Is there one age group that is more predominant?
Yes, absolutely. The ages between 60 and 74 years of age is our primary group. I mean, 70% of our members are between those ages. So, I mean, we are definitely being effective in capturing the younger, older adults. Mm-hmm. We do definitely have some folks who are up in their 90s who are very active. They are here swimming laps every day. They participated in our computer classes, our iPad classes. I mean, we have folks who are very health and wellness oriented despite age. But yes, we are definitely capturing the younger, older adult in our program.
That's great. What's the maximum number of folks that you can serve? I'm guessing that's for lunch.
Okay. Well, we have seating for 30 in our cafe, but because we serve for an hour, we're able to get people in and out. So, I mean, we average between 25 and 35, sometimes a little bit higher if we have presenters of big interest. So we often will bring in 6-foot tables. We'll put them by our sectional table and kind of do some seating that way to be creative. But our primary seating area is just 30 seats itself.
Okay, great. We have a couple of questions about the moving the tables around and inviting people to sit away from their cliques. Now, I think if I know you guys correctly, you started implementing a lot of these things right away so that no one ever really got used to the old way.
Right. Absolutely.
Okay. So for our friends on the call that perhaps or have been in existence for quite some time, any recommendations on implementing this? How receptive are people to this, and any recommendations for moving those tables around?
Yes, I think when we first set up our place here, tables did stay in the same spot for a while.
Okay.
And we started to notice a little bit of the clicky stuff, to be honest. And that's what made us decide that it's time to move stuff around. And in fact, we're about to make another change in tables. We currently have a large table, one long table, and then some smaller tables. And we're going to get rid of that long table because it doesn't lend itself to a warm environment. If people want to be together, they can push their tables together and then pull them apart. But it's much more. I think it's much more successful to have smaller tables that people can move together than have longer tables. I think just create a very standoffish environment. So in any case, in the beginning we did have that problem. So we would notice, and that's really keeping your ear. They call me big ears here, and they'll see me coming if somebody talks to somebody in a way that's not quite polite or negative, or there's a little gossipy stuff. They see me coming, and they're like, "Oh, Michelle's coming. We gotta everybody be kind." It's a sort of a funny joke, but we just moved the tables, and people they would say, you know, why is this moved over here? And we just responded in a very upbeat way. We didn't make a big deal out of it. We just thought, oh, it's time for a change. Change is fun. Change is good.
That's great.
We want everybody to experience your great laughter, Sally. So we want you to be, if you want to come and sit over here, you can. We want people to have it. People might want to look out the window. Just kept it very light.
That's great.
And I think the other thing is we don't let people own seats, and I think I mentioned that when I was presenting before, that a lot of centers, people say, that's my seat, that's Sally's seat. And I'm like, no, nobody has it. No one has assigned seats here.
That's great. I just want to acknowledge, folks, that we're almost out of time, and I do still have a number of questions. What I'm going to do is I'm going to share these with Chris and with Michelle, and so when we post it up on the website, we'll address some of these questions that we don't get to. So just a couple more technical questions, since we only have a minute or two, and we won't be able to jump into a more complicated one. Are the menus that you serve for lunch approved by a registered dietitian?
No.
No, you don't do that piece. Okay.
No, we don't do that. Our lunches are just catered lunches. We're not under the oversight of Monroe County Office of the Aging at all. But we were primarily when we first started.
Okay.
But that funding has gone away, and we're fully funded by United Way.
Great. So you guys are kind of outside of the traditional system, and you don't have to follow those types of regulations.
Exactly.
Okay.
We've gone rogue. Completely gone rogue.
Well, I love it. So there's a handful of questions left. Like I just said, I'm going to keep these questions. I'm going to share them with Chris and Michelle, and we'll get some answers to the folks who pass them on. And I will definitely have those answers for you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Chris and Michelle, for sharing all of your wisdom with us today. It definitely was eye-opening, and I hope that everyone enjoyed it. Like I said, this stuff is going to be available on the website, agingny.org. Give us early next week, and we'll get it up there. And I'll definitely have answers to the rest of the questions at that point. So everyone, have a wonderful rest of your afternoon. Happy Friday, and enjoy your weekend. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, Chris. Bye, Michelle.
Bye. Thank you.